one of the things about that particular location is a couple years earlier, 2 CI officers had been killed from our special activities center, and we knew who did it. And so, there's a lot of things you can do. So we're there trying to win hearts and minds. We have all of our kind of humanitarian projects, and we also have the HVT mission. And I gathered everyone in the base, and I said, if we do anything in this next year, we're gonna kill the dude who's responsible for the death of 2 of our colleagues, and we did.
You did?
Yep. And the night where a Hellfire missile, ended the life of a really bad guy, because it's not only responsible for killing 2 of our officers, but he was plotting additional attacks and was responsible for additional attacks against American forces, and that's really important too. But that night, sitting around the fire pit, which is, as you remember, it's caveman TV. Mm-hmm. The single greatest moments I've had in war zones are places like that. The camaraderie. If you ask me what do I miss about CIA, it's not the bureaucracy. There's a whole bunch of bad shit that happened to me in the end, but it's that camaraderie around the fire pit in a war zone. But one of the guys with me there was like, "Hey man, I have the phone number back in Fort Bragg of the widow of one of these officers. We should call her." That's fucking unheard of.
Wow.
And I said, "Fuck it, get the sat phone," and we called her, and we said, "We avenged the death of your husband," and she just said, "Thank you."
Holy shit!
No cable,
amazing.
And I just and that to me, we sat around, had a toast of bourbon, and that was relatively early on in my year, but I was like, that was good, man. That felt good. And I've talked about this story before, and some people have criticized me as saying, that's just getting kind of getting vengeance for something that happened in the past, but not the code is these people that this individual took out 2 of our guys, and we got him in the end, and I freaking love that story.
That's interesting that you say that, and because that's one of my next questions is, since we're on the topic of killing.
Yeah.
One thing that I noticed is killing is a lot more. People don't get so emotional about it. When I was in the SEAL teams,
right.
It was whenever we killed somebody or took out a group of bad guys or whatever. It was more of it felt more like an accomplishment.
Yeah.
When I jumped over to the agency, what I noticed is there's a lot more emotion within agency personnel when it comes to killing bad guys.
Yeah.
What was that like? And I know where you were at in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Kandahar, extremely dangerous place. Where you're talking about in East Afghanistan, probably even worse.
Time Magazine called my old base the most dangerous place on the planet.
Yeah.
That's fun when you go home to your wife and you say, "Hey, I got to go to Afghanistan for a year," and she's like, "Are you going to Kabul?" I'm like, "Yeah, maybe not."
But I guess what I'm getting at is because of the areas that you were hanging out in, there's not a doubt in my mind that you're directly responsible for the deaths of several bad guys. What was that like for you emotionally, mentally, the first time that you were directly responsible?
What a great question. It's I was flat. It wasn't anything. It happened actually first in Iraq, and I'll never forget this because as I was this was probably March or April of 2003, and I'm running around with some of your old buddies. This is with Dev Group, and because we were doing the HVT hunt, but occasionally, and then I would work with some of the other NSW units there, which actually, for probably a variety of reasons, it was a lot. It was easier to work with them because they were really eager to kind of jump on board, and we were doing some other things. But I remember collecting intelligence on the location of remember the old Fedayeen Saddam? These are the Iraqi irregulars, and so I had the geocords, and we're somewhere in Baghdad, and I freaking knock on a fucking Bradley fighting vehicle that was nearby, and I was like, "Here, take this," and they're like, "Fucking game on," and then you hear that whir of the whatever, I don't know what caliber weapon comes out of the Bradley, but goddamn. And afterwards I was just like, that was fucking crazy.
Hey everybody, I'm Shawn Ryan. Click here to subscribe to the Shawn Ryan Show YouTube channel for the hottest and most compelling interviews that you will not see anywhere else. I've also made a playlist of all the previous SRS episodes so they're easy to find. You can find that right here.